Hi, traders. Wyckoff AM Trader here, editor of the Emini Market Timing Newsletter, the AM Turn, in your email inbox before the opening bell. Imagine how your life could change if you knew whether the high or the low of the day could be in the beginning or the end of the trading day. Here's how my subscribers to the AM Turn's trading changed. Before we get to that, here's a disclaimer. Yes, I have skin in the game. I trade my own personal account, sardine, tuna, billfish trades, or for educational purposes only. I am not a futures broker and do not manage any accounts. It is my intent to show where trades may occur. What you do is up to you. You can follow my levels ideas to profit or loss. You determine trade size, when, where, how you trade. CFD futures is not for everyone. It's a volatile, complex, and risky business. Before you invest, know how much you can afford to lose.
Good morning, traders. This is Wyckoff AM Trader with the early read for March the 4th. That's going to be for Monday. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get what we've got going on here. I actually forgot that I was doing the early read here and went to the market recap. There it is. Looking at New York time, 8:50. Obviously, that's going to be for Monday. A little bit redundant, but May the 4th, same thing. Star Wars Day. As I was waiting for the market recap to render last night, that stuff doesn't have real time. You still got to render it. I saw an interesting article on the editing of Star Wars. And of course, I saw the original Star Wars. And it was quite interesting how Lucas kept tweaking the storyline even as he comes out with new releases. A lot of going on here. We'll get back to the... we talked about this in the market recap, but we'll give you a quick little run over that. Wyckoff Wave really gave us a good... looks like I did not update that correctly. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. We'll take a look at that. Now, my apologies. I did not get that one updated. So my apologies. We'll update that on the final one, but it's already gone out to print. That should have been for Friday. All right. Well, I try to be perfect, but that one was not. So that would have been Thursday. So basically what happened Friday was I'll try to draw it a little bit, something like that. And then we got that. Then we got something like that. And then we got that. Then we got, something like that for the most part. So what we're saying, it's had a bit of a base of accumulation. As I said in the market recap, it's either that is a resting spell for either more downside movement. And Globac's opened up at...
Sorry, traders. This is for the
about
WB proprietary work only. Just drop us an email at YouTube at
$27.80, we'll call it,
and we'll get you on the fast track to understand what YouTube and what Wyckoff is all about.
Continue the movement down and put in a low. And we can get that for you right up here. It's amazing when you're young, you can be so perfect, but as you start to put on a few years, how your perfection or your perceived perfection seems to turn a bit. So my apologies. We'll get that updated though. Put in a low there. Where's it at? 27.71. And of course, our low there was 28.11. And of course, we're rallying off of that. And currently we're trading 28.01. Pretty much same place where we were before. And like I said, make sure we got this for you. 28.20 would have been a decent place. 28.30, more ideal. And like I said, look potentially for them to try to reclaim the 28.50. Of course, in the 40 and the 50. Try to give all those different spectras that we have there. And that's about a 50 handle run. Notice the previous day was a 46.
Sorry, traders. This is
trade
for the
range. So that's
WB proprietary work only. Just drop us an email.
And then, of course,
YouTube
on the low, 96.83, 78, and ideally would be the 7.
Fast track to understand what YouTube and what Wyckoff is all about.
It would be definitely more ease of movement to the downside than the upside if you were looking at a 50 handle potential either way. That'd be 70, actually. Well, actually not. That'd be like 30. So you could definitely take that and go lower if it's going to be more bearish. little concerning. And we'll talk about it real quickly. That I made a statement there on the video that it's all about the virus, and if you like that sort of thing, like I tell people, I'd like for it to be someone else's thoughts and someone else's concerns, but we're kind of stuck in it. And we talked about looking forward there pretty much. Price to get a weak bid and then peter out, start fall back into the range. That's kind of what we're looking at for the most part. And pressure to reclaim the Friday open and, of course, not be able to keep it anymore. I can do that. Coming into the news, it was all bearish. You can almost figure out what Trump is going to do and how the media is going to spin it. Folks that love Trump or Trump fans or obviously support Trump, they see it one way, and the folks that don't support Trump, they see it another way. And I was talking to, like I said, my institutional friend, and we were talking about how, at least from my perspective, I've never seen such the common man caught in the wake of one president. I mean, we had the potential scandal with the little porn star, and then we had some others situation I even forgot about, something about China, not China, but Russia, and potentially tried to fake the election. And then we got the Kavanaugh guy, and then we had some other thing, and then eventually we tried to impeach the president. All China tariffs that he brought on, then we tried to impeach the president, and then that didn't work. And then 3 days later or 2 weeks later, then we had this virus. So if all this is an attempt, and like I said, Trump was tungsten steel until this virus came on. And if that was some weird attempt to try to bring Trump back down to his knees, I'm not going to be a happy camper because we all got caught up in it. And of course, now Trump is saying that what everyone is saying on the street, hey, this thing came from China, and I think they did it on purpose. And that's what he's saying. And so everything's going to be related to the virus and whether the economy can sustain itself. And for the most part, Trump is starting the rhetoric and saying that we got evidence or strong potential that it would have came in there, and this is the reasons why. And of course, then Buffett steps up and he says, you know what? You're just damn lucky to have me on the planet right now, which he was hiding that he lost $50 billion. 50 with a B. And then he said he wasn't able to participate in that recovery from the bottom. I'm not really buying that either. And then, of course, Bill Gates gets out and says, you need me for the cure because I'm the smart man and I'm going to make a lot of money helping thousands and billions of people. I don't know. I mean, it's quite a coincidence, as they would say. And of course, now, if you look back in the AM turns from January, I was talking about this all the time down here. And now it's just constant news that we're seeing in the reports from the news media. And of course, when we needed the mask, we didn't have the mask, and now you have every commercial people wearing masks, and every talk show host people are now streaming. And to me, it's a potential sign that the worst is over. And we're almost through this simply because when all the media gets on board and all the experts get on board and saying, oh, now start wearing the mask, it's just them covering their CYA. And it's just them getting in at the late end because no one wants to take a chance at the beginning. Once again, it's just to my eye perspective, but it's very concerning that we're caught in its wake. And, we have 10 years to recover because every decade something else nonsensical comes in. And if you look at the price of crude, I called it petrol, but if you look at the price of crude, it's at the all-time lows because guess what? There's no gas tanks that are being filled. And so another benefit or possibly another reason why Trump wants to jumpstart the economy is you're going to have a place for that gas to go. And then once you do that, just
Drop us an
coincidentally, all the
email
ducks
at
line up in a row, just like we happen to have Zoom technologies out where you
wyckoffamtrader.com,
could
and we'll
work from
get you
home.
on
We've
the
had that for
fast
years.
track to understand what
I was one of
YouTube
the first
and what
persons that ever
Wyckoff
did
is all about.
WebEx. When it was called WebEx. You probably wouldn't know that. And then Microsoft bought it. But what I'm saying is, coincidentally, all these technologies happen to be ready for us to use and get in bed with. So it's quite interesting. As I was mentioning to my friend last night, well, if we go to electric cars, we're going to have the same problem. We're going to have too much oil and no gas tanks to put it in. So something else is going to happen to push us over the tipping point to where all the cars are electric. And everyone says, well, I'll never see it in my age. Well, I never thought I'd be wearing a mask. All right, YouTube, this is not for you. We'll have to cut you out. Or you could subscribe to the AM Turn and get it. Like I said, we're coming off of those lows. We're looking at the settle and the pivots. And weekly pivot was a little bit higher than the previous week, but still yet. We got these folks, these people infected. And here's the big deal. You know, that Dr. F, I'll call him Dr. F. You can figure out who he is. He concerns me because he does not use the word might or could or would. He uses the word will, as if he has some kind of inside information, and he speaks with impunity. And he often speaks with disdain toward the common man. And of course, the politicians and the politicians, meaning the governors and the mayors, are using shaming techniques that you would normally shame dogs with and put it on video on YouTube. You know, shame on you for doing this. And even here in Colorado, when we look, when we drive down that road, it says stay home. You're saving a life. You're saving lives. And then it's almost like, well, I guess in Colorado, I think it's Wednesday, we're going to start charging citizens $1,000 if they're seen without a mask. Isn't it ironic that just 3 weeks ago that the suppliers were able to stockpile all the masks and now they got someplace to do with it? They're not giving it away. So the experts are upset because they put this phased guidelines in place. And I've listened to all the people talk, all the experts either graduated from Bloomberg University or Bloomberg Contacts or New York. It's just amazing how everyone's concentrated in this think tank, all pretty much report about, New York organizations. I think one was by Rockefeller. That was the Forbes 100 talk that I noticed. And it's just quite interesting how everything's focused on one direction. But they're shaming anybody that wants to get on with their life. And of course, the people they're shaming are probably making at least $750,000 to 1.2 million, if not 10 million. And the people they're shaming are barely making like 35,000, 40,000, 50,000. So it's interesting. So everyone's saying now, yeah, but there's a potential for this next wave. But it's almost like you focus on what you want. We're creating this reality. And there was a weird thing on Andromeda where they got put into an alternate reality and their thoughts created the reality. Hey, guess what? We're doing a lot of that right now. So Aristotelian logic, I'm seeing a lot of that. You might want to Google that. And shaming techniques. This is not the 1930s where the common man, not educated, read or write, walks around barefoot and can't speak to King's English. We're educated people here. We're smart people. We deserve better. And like I said in a video last night, you're looking at the autocrats and the amiables rising to the top. And pretty much the common thinking man, he's going to get kicked to the curb. So my perception, it's just CYA, of all the experts. That way they got both sides covered. A lot of brokers used to use a technique. They would just pick a stock and they would call 100 people. I'm from the Blinder Robinson era. They'd call 100 people. All right. And they'd wait 2 weeks. And the stock that was up, they'd call those people. And the stock that they picked that was now down, they delete those people. They throw them away. And you just focus on the odds. So you just CYA. You just pick a side, or you pick a stock, and then whichever is the winning side, you focus on that. And that way they can say, see there, I told you. We have this next wave coming through. But they're speaking with impunity, and that bothers me. And of course, it's no big strange thing, social distancing, and they got the buzzwords alone together. And I heard the interview from Starbucks. The guy said that most people are wanting peace, safety, with togetherness. It didn't make with social distancing, get together. Yeah, social distancing togetherness. It made absolutely no sense. When you use oxymorons, that's definitely a form of programming. Once again, right now we're trading about the same thing, 2780 or 2800. So it's all about the same. Nothing's going to wait till we open up cash. Everyone's kind of got their bases covered. And I'll get that video out hopefully before that comes true or doesn't. For the most part, you're looking about a little bit undecided, half a point either way. We're already coming off the lows, which would be something to that nature. First day of the week, first day of the cycle, pressure in China to take the blame for ground zero. All the surplus of petro have a composite tank to go into. Like I said, it's going to be interesting when we go to the electric cars. That's the range. Let's see here. Oops, we'll get rid of that. 360,000. That would have been what we had overnight. It's about normal, something like that. The range is pretty decent. I've got no qualms either way. Favored to move with the bear, but once again, it could flip. Then we just need to see how price is going to trade. And there's a spiel of odds. And of course, we're coming close to that full moon. That's going to be, I guess, Thursday. I guess I could probably pull up a calendar and make sure. I'm just doing it from memory, but I don't keep track of that stuff. So that's probably not the best thing for me to do as far as time. Yeah, I was right. How about that? Wednesday, that's when the $1,000 fine is going to happen. And isn't that ironic that full moon is 7th? And isn't it more ironic that now America's coming off a lockdown this week? So of all the weeks to pick, we picked the one week where all the madness of crowds is going to be affected by the lunar cycle. Things that make you want to go home. All right. That's notes on. Yeah, that was the Globacks. I mean, that was the Wyckoff wave. I'll show it to you real quick since I messed that up. Well, that was correct. I always get that particular graphic was correct because we're not to the end of Monday yet. That's kind of funny. That's preliminary support, like I said, and then that's a base of accumulation. And yeah, ideally, it'd been great if that didn't come out as much. So once again, we pierced that line. This was the rushing spell, and we went down. Of course, now we're rallying back up. So theoretically, we obviously got to reclaim this area right here. And then you can look back and say, oh, that was a self-supply if we fall through, of course. And if we take it out, oh, that was definitely accumulation. And then we just let it spring and then pop back up. But like I said on a video, all you need to be looking for is this right here. What is going on in there? Do those guys, do they have some more supply they want to dump on the market? And can the buying pressure take that out and take price higher? Potentially, okay, we could try to reclaim this. And like I said, we could kind of peter out. That was a homage to my father. And then, of course, Wyckoff would have said some rounding. We expect some rounding. And then the price to kind of pull back, and who knows where it's going to get to. That's on the Wyckoff way. But the same thing's on the Emini. A little bit more succinct on the Emini, I guess. Like I said, I almost hit pretty perfect. There was a trading range there. Then price broke through. Right, had preliminary support right here, selling climax there, automatic rally there, secondary test, sign of strength. This is what we drew, and of course it'll pull back. So here's the thing. Then we gap down a little bit, and then we bounced off, and now we're trading back up. And like I said, same exact scenario. Potential for the buying pressure to try to make an attempt to reclaim that high. And of course, the first level might be right there. And the second level might be right there. And then, of course, we're going to try to come up. And like I was very detailed on the market recap video. Really need that to come up through increasing volume. That's actually volume. if price is going to try to reclaim that and take out. And that's really all we're saying. The last hour, was that selling? A high possibility that could have been selling. But like I said, you can't make no mistake. That was definitely a base. Once again, it's still a resting spell. All we know is a resting spell for further downside movement or further upside movement. And now we're coming off, and we'll just have to see how price comes and trades. All right, that should cover just about everything you ever wanted to know. Let's wrap this up. We're looking at 9:10. This is Wyckoff Trader with the early read for Monday, May the 4th. Be nimble, be quick. Don't let the market make you sick.
Sorry, traders. This is for the WB proprietary work only. Just drop us an email at youtube@wyckoffamtrader.com, and we'll get you on the fast track to understand what YouTube and what Wyckoff is all about.